Your real self. When was it that you turned your real self to the world? Not the self your parents or friends wanted you to be, but your inside self. The self that sang, the self that hurt, the self that was more you than any self you had been to that point in time. When was it? My time of being my real self happened in stages. There was the time as a teenager when I began to try on the self I would eventually grow out of. But for that period in my life, it was the time I began to question the rules I'd been given to walk in this life. They did not feel right. In fact, they felt wrong. So wrong that I didn't wait to seek out other roads to travel. I almost got in trouble, but I did remember the rules. Then we got married. That life, too, was patterned more on what I was accustomed to as I grew up than any other. Slowly, I began to reach out to embrace what I thought was a truer me than I'd seen before. It just felt right. I did the conventional thing of having a job, and then, surprisingly, what eventually became a career. I worked for years as a conventional grown-up person. I was responsible. I did seem to make people laugh, though I never did figure out why. I still have not figured out why they laugh, though. Considering what has happened to me, perhaps they might be the insights I have. Not sure about that, but maybe. Gilda Radner once assured me that I was a comedian. She should know. I didn't feel any different than I did when I was a little girl. I never made anybody laugh back then, at least I don't remember it. By the way, I met Gilda years after she passed away. The same thing is true with most of the folk in spirit I talk to. I was nervous in the beginning because I've always been a shy person. My spirit guide, whom I met officially on February 12, 1993, began asking me a year into our association if I wanted to talk to somebody other than himself. I think I'd only talked to one of my grandmothers to that point, but cautiously, I allowed that might be okay. At the time, I was trying to learn to play the piano. Amadeus Mozart was the first to come to talk with me. Right away, I knew this was not my spirit guide. The energy was different. I didn't know I could tell the difference in folk and spirit, but evidently I could. I asked who I was speaking to. He said, "I am your music maestro, Amadeus Mozart." Now, I can only tell you my truth. After I pass, maybe I find out it was the same entity I was talking to all these years. What would you feel like if you had been tricked like that? Well, I decided no matter what happened, the important thing would be, what is going on with my life right now? I continue to be happily married. I continue to write. I continue to explore psychic and spiritual realms. It's what I do. I also realize that the journey I have taken in this lifetime, though on the face of it might seem extraordinary, is really just me. Being psychic is natural and is not a talent or gift. It is a sense and something that can be trained and encouraged. Just as if you had a nose for perfume or wine. It is as ordinary as learning how to draw. You might think not all of us are able to draw, but you can draw. As it did for me, learning how to draw involves a bit of looking at things differently. In the beginning, you pretend. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to Just Passing Through. It will help the channel grow. My writing can be found on medium.com, written by Pauline Evanosky.